Joining me now is Nick Kunze from Sanlam Private Wealth. Nick, thanks for your time this evening. So as mentioned, risk is back on the table, markets looking good. But I'm wondering, are those US tech overstretched valuations still lurking? Are you concerned about that? Also looking at it against some of the Q3 numbers we got and some of the news overnight around Alphabet, it hit record highs as well.
So I think, all of the above, really. At some point, valuations have to matter. I mean, if you follow the AI space, you think not. They just seem to sort of squeeze higher and higher. And then certainly the numbers that have been bouncing around, the capex expenditure, 100 billion there, another 100 billion elsewhere. At some point, you've got to, as a shareholder, you've got to realize some value on that. And I think there are certainly concerns about that space, and I must add as well, concerns when these big sort of tech players of the Magnificent Seven, Oracle springs to mind, Meta the other one, when they start issuing debt to play in that R&D space and not use operating cash flow, I think it is certainly a sign to be a little bit cautious. So yeah, I think a little bit of caution coming in, but as we said earlier, I think the path of least resistance for now is still to the upside.
Okay, so a little bit of caution in the US. What about what's playing out across the Atlantic? How are investors assessing that UK budget? I mean, that economy has been under some strain for some time, and we did see Rachel Reeves increasing tax today. What's your assessment of that environment? Also considering that we've had big business leaders also say that the UK is uninvestable at the moment. I also ask because we have a number of locally listed companies that also have operations in Britain.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And in fact, if you dig a little bit deeper, if you look at what the UK bonds are doing, also known locally as gilts, those yields and those gilts are higher than they actually were when, if you remember, Liz Truss, that basically forced her out when she tried to push through a similar sort of entity and try to balance the budget. So very, very difficult times for the United Kingdom. And ultimately, you've got a Labour government in charge, and one of their pledges was to not raise taxes. So I think we're probably seeing the last budget that Rachel Reeves or the Labour government are going to do. So things are changing, and they've got a 20, 30 odd billion hole to fill. We all know what it's like trying to balance budgets closer to home here in South Africa. And I think they've got a mountain to climb. I don't quite see how they get out of it without raising taxes even more, quite frankly.
Yeah, precarious time for that nation. Let's shift gears to company news. Tiger Brands giving shareholders a reason to smile. Really, really big dividend coming through on the back of course, improved numbers as well. Let's get your analysis on that performance. And perhaps maybe you can take us through your thoughts around the RFG tie-up and the kind of potential competition or risk it could pose to the likes of a Tiger Brands.
So I think Tiger Brands, for the time being, is certainly in a little bit of a world of its own for now. I mean, that obviously could change with Premier and RFG, but certainly for now, that this set of results that came out, I thought were quite stunning, actually. I mean, HEP's up 31% in a tough environment, in an inflationary environment as well. With food inflation, so great set of numbers. Must be said though, well guarded, so no real surprises. I guess the surprise was a special dividend out of nowhere. I mean, you mentioned it on the earlier intro, and also if you look at their dividend cover going from 1.75% to 1.25%, and sitting on a nice big fat cash pile too. And I must tell you, not so many businesses on the JSE sitting with this much cash. And in this sort of position as well. So I think for now they look like a great set of numbers. And I must add as well a little bit of tailwinds for that SA Inc. space. I know you've covered it on the show a few times, and I think this is just going to add to it. And watch out for that foreigner shareholder base. I think the foreigners are going to pick the stock up.
All right, quickly before we get into your stock pick, thoughts around Vukile's numbers, still a set of numbers yet again.
Yeah, another good set of numbers, and incidentally, not just that SA property play, as we all know, if you follow Vukile, that's the Spanish side and the European side, Eastern Europe as well, and also leaning more into the faster growing economies of Europe as well. So I think this is quite a nice share. I think they've run a very good business. And I think also if you look at their sort of their debt base and their ratio cover as well, also looking better. So I think also a nice set of numbers, and those property shares that run in general as well, and Vukile being one of the leaders of those.
All right, let's get your stock pick. Where are you seeing value at the moment?
Also, spoiler alert! I've just given you all of that. That was Tiger Brands, but we can rehash the ideas
That's
behind
a safe bet, Nick.
No. Look, nice day today, up 7%, top of the all-share leaderboard. But nevertheless, drill down into those numbers. I think a solid business. So if we can just touch a little bit more onto that SA Inc. space. You want to own a share where the foreigners are coming for. You want to own a share where you're going to get benefits from a stronger local currency, a dropping interest rate environment. We had the Reserve Bank last week, Mr. Kunze, giving us a little bit of an early Christmas present. I think there's more to come. I think those real rates are coming down even more, and that's going to benefit the locals like a Tiger Brand. So even after a decent pop today, 300 and where was it, 360 odd, 350 odd. I think you can still pick it up around these and, closer to 400, maybe get out. But for now, lots more upside. Great set of numbers. Tiger Brands stock pick for us.
All right, Nick, betting on Tiger Brands. Let's leave it there. Thanks so much for your time this evening. Nick Kunze from Sanlam Private Wealth.